Katrina.
Okay, so recording is on now. Firstly, my name is Maddie. I know most of you, I think, and this is Alex, and we're your Country Kitchens buddies, or two of the Country Kitchens buddies for Central Region. So we're going to be running the session this morning. So just a couple of reminders before we get started. So just when we're speaking and if you're listening, if you can just turn yourself on mute just so that the background noise doesn't come through. And we also have some ladies speaking today, and if you're all on mute, it'll mean that you can see their faces when they're talking because it'll bring them to the front. So if you can do that, that would be lovely. And just if you do have questions or anything, feel free to use the chat function while we're chatting. We will ask we'll see if you have any questions and check that throughout the session. So yeah, feel free to come off mute when we do the Q&A as well at the end. We're just going to go get the presentation started now. So I would like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which we are presenting from today, the Turrbal and Yagara people, for those of us who are in the office here today, along with the traditional owners of where you are all joining us from today. So I do pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. So this morning's presentation, we are just going to do a little bit of a program update. Some of that information, some of you may have heard at region conferences, at the region conference, sorry. We do have two lovely guest speakers as well today that we will hear from, which is great. And then we just have the Q&A session at the end. So I do just ask that we do leave, most of the questions, particularly about the program update to the end, just because one of our guest speakers isn't able to stay for the full session. So she has to duck off just a touch early today. So we will get to the questions, but if it's not related to their specific activity, if we can just wait to the end, that would be great. Sorry, that's Katrina that's going to be ducking off early, so you can ask her questions about her walking groups when we get to that. But yeah, I'll pass on to Alex now.
Okay, so we will just kick things off with a brief program update. So as we do near the end of the 2024-25 financial year, the team is starting to put together our final reports to our program funders, Health and Wellbeing Queensland. So this is just a quick reminder that one of our main program targets is to have each branch with a Country Kitchens facilitator deliver at least one level 2 or higher activity over the year. So this means either a Country Kitchens recipe promotion, a showcase, a hands-on nutrition workshop, back to basics series, or advocacy activity. So if your branch is yet to run an activity this financial year, or your activities have been limited to just sharing the monthly munch at your branch meeting, you might like to consider organising a simple healthy recipe promotion or maybe a static display at your hall before the end of June 30. So that's just to get that Country Kitchens activity ticked off for the year. If you do need any help with this or want to double check if you've already completed a qualifying activity, reach out to your Country Kitchens buddy and we're more than happy to help and to look this up for you. On the other hand, if your branch has been running Country Kitchens activities but you're yet to report these to us, please get in touch and let us know. We can include any activities retrospectively, so please let us know so we can make sure that we've captured all of your hard work in that final report that goes to our funders. And anyone who was at Central Region Conference will already have heard this, but we are very thrilled to announce that we've got some exciting news about the program to share verbally with you all today. And I'm just going to read this to make sure I get it correct, but the QCWA has received advice from Health and Wellbeing Queensland that a renewal of funding for the Country Kitchens program has been approved by their board for the period of 1st of July 2025 until the 30th of June 2027, pending successful contract negotiations and contract execution. So it is expected that contracts will be finalised and executed before the end of the current funding period, which is the end of June. And the formal announcement by Health and Wellbeing of the renewed funding should occur in early July 2025. So please note that this information is embargoed until advised otherwise by Health and Wellbeing Queensland, and at this stage is not to be shared externally. So we've just got a few more people trickling in. But this contract extension will take Country Kitchens into 12 years of continuous program funding, which is an incredible achievement and a testament to all the hard work of our volunteer facilitators. So thank you all for the time and passion that you have and that you continue to pour into the program and into your communities. Okay, so the other update is on our Healthier Supermarkets initiative, Supermarket Superheroes. So we have mentioned a little bit about this at the last regional networking meeting. So for anyone who's not familiar, the Supermarket Superhero project involves the Country Kitchens team and local facilitators working with store managers of participating local stores to improve the healthiness of the in-store food environment. So this includes some in-store strategies and promotion of fruits and vegetables through a local social marketing campaign. So the campaign focuses on promoting fruits and vegetables as superheroes, really just to encourage shoppers to incorporate these items into their meals. So by associating fruits and vegetables with that sort of superhero imagery, the campaign aims to make healthy eating fun, engaging, and accessible for everyone. So to help bring the campaign to life, collateral such as posters, recipe cards, stickers, and shelf tags featuring all that superhero produce and branding will be positioned strategically throughout the store. And the project is anticipated to boost store produce sales. So it does aim to benefit both the store and the community by fostering those healthier eating habits. So we have had Dimbulah Friendly Grocer in Atherton Tableland Division selected as the pilot store for the project this financial year. So one of the facilitators from Atherton Tablelands from Dimbulah branch in Atherton Tableland, Tara, she connected with the store manager who organised to meet with the Country Kitchens team to sort of start that process. Tara, her Country Kitchens buddy Gemma, and our program manager Meg then all met and communicated regularly with the store manager to implement the project. So the campaign was active in store throughout April and May of this year, and you'll see a few photos up on the slides there of some of the promotional items around the store. So the team did recently travel to Dimbulah to wrap up the end of that 8-week project pilot, and we are excited to share some of those results from that project in the coming months. But now that that pilot is complete, one of our key contract deliverables for the next funding cycle is to expand the Supermarket Superheroes project into more stores, particularly across rural, regional and remote Queensland. So we are very close to launching the project at the Foodworks in St. George, but we are looking for other locations across the state. So if you're interested in working on this type of project, or maybe you know of a local independent store in your area that might be a good fit, we would love to hear from you. Please reach out to your Country Kitchens buddy to express your interest and we can chat about that project further. So in the interest of time, we will have to keep moving through the presentation, but as Maddy mentioned, we'll have lots of time at the end for you to ask any questions you might have about this project.
And just before we move on to our first guest speaker, Katrina, just wanted to talk a little bit more about our walking group resources, which you may have seen pop up over the last few months. So to assist facilitators and branches in promoting the Sit Less, Move More key message, we put together a suite of resources to support you to create a walking group for your branch or community, and that does include some walking group community activity guidelines. So that just outlines some of the steps you might like to take to get a walking group started, and it has lots of other helpful links and resources in there as well. And to help entice people to join the walking group and support them with tracking the steps, we have a resource pack that will be provided to each member of the walking group. So to do that, you need to register your walking group participants on the 10,000 Steps website in order for them to receive the resources. And then once you have your first walk locked in, we'll send the pack to you ready for that first walk, ideally. And this pack includes a hat, so a Country Kitchens hat, a water bottle, a step log, and a pedometer, as you can see there on the screen. If you are interested in starting a walking group or need help with registering the participants on the 10,000 Steps website, reach out to one of us, your Country Kitchens buddies, so that we can support you with that process. It is a very easy to use website, so give it a go first and see how you go. But yeah, we're definitely here and happy to help you through that process. And just to make a note, not absolutely everyone has to join the 10,000 Steps website. It would be great if they did, but I do understand that there are some challenges there as well. There is also an app that people can use as well. But yes, chat to us for help around that. If you do have any questions about those specific resources or starting a walking group, again, we'll chat about that at the end. But I do want to introduce our first guest speaker today, who is Katrina Lucas from Tannum Sands branch. Katrina will talk through the steps that she took to successfully start a walking group in Tannum Sands using those Country Kitchens walking group resources. This walking group was the first official walking group to launch since we released those resources, and last I checked, the group had about 14 registered members. So yeah, that was fantastic to see. There may be more now. Katrina might be able to tell us. So congratulations, Katrina. That is a fantastic achievement. And I will pass it over to you, Katrina, if that's okay. And just reminder to take yourself off mute.
Yeah. Thanks, Maddy. Yeah, so basically, like Maddy said, I started with the brochure, the Sit Less Move More brochure, to see what steps I would need to take to start a walking group. And then I just I suppose it started at the international conference where I went. This is my first year with CWA and also first year as an international officer. So when I went to the international conference with my president, we learnt about the walking group and a few other things that we could do and incorporate into our international activities. So that's where we got the brochure, and basically I just noted down some ideas and took them to our next branch meeting, and we discussed it and decided that that was a good idea and we would open it up to the community. So then you can see on your screen there's actually a little poster there, the CWA Community Walking Group. So that was my first poster I put out. A lot of my advertising I did on Facebook, just our local community groups, which have been very popular to get the word out there for people to come and join. Although I did notice that last time another person had asked about walking groups, and someone else, not a CWA member, had actually responded and said about the walking group. So that was really exciting to see that the name's getting out there into the community, and I'm not having to advertise it as much as I did in the beginning. So that's really good. Yeah, and we have a lovely parklands down here at Tannum Sands where we live. So that was the perfect spot to meet and walk around. The first couple of meetings was just pretty much getting to know people and going for a little walk. We didn't do too much walking in the first couple of weeks because it was really a get to know you and talk about what we were doing as part of the international activity. So you can see down the bottom of your screen, we actually did the walk across Ontario, and we finished it now, which is amazing. So we're looking for other activities and challenges to walk now that we've finished that one. But it's pretty much we just meet up on a Monday afternoon and people walk for as long or as little as they like. So we worked out if they do one little lap of the park, then that's about 1,000 steps. So then we kind of we just noted down what people were doing. And as we got more members, more people signed up to the app. At first, it was just me noting down the steps that people were taking. But then as people became more confident, they started using the app themselves. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at. And we've also done a few other walks now. So we've done the Mother's Day Classic. So that was really exciting to do that one. And somebody actually put up just recently if anyone wanted to come and do the Mount Larkham climb as part of the walking group. So yeah, so it's going well.
Great, some really great ideas. And I'm sure you have. I haven't checked the latest step tally, but I'm sure it's really getting up there now.
Yes. So the last one I looked at, which was probably a couple of weeks ago, was almost 2 million steps collectively as a group.
Great work.
Yeah, so that's awesome.
That's huge.
And it's also got our name out into the community.
Yeah.
And a lot of people that have joined the walking group have actually come along and then joined the CWA. So
wow,
it's kind of boosted our members as well. So yeah.
Oh, that's so nice. What a nice way to get people in and get mingling and then get them to join the branch as well. So that's great benefits on both sides. So
yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. Does anybody have any questions for Katrina about the walking group that she's started at all?
All right, Diane,
do you have one? Yep.
Or unmute.
Oh, no,
you're on mute now.
I think you tried to unmute, but you've muted yourself. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Congratulations, Katrina. Kate. Sorry, missed your name, Katrina. I think that's fabulous. Can I suggest that you ask somebody to get the previous countries to study, because there's walking tours around Trinidad and Tobago.
Okay.
And I would love to know the poster that you had with the green background. That's sensational. Did you do that, or did that come from QCWA?
No, I actually did that one. It's from a program called Canva.
Yeah, okay, we've got that.
Yeah. So
I haven't been in there, but I know the branch has got it.
Yeah, so if you it's pretty easy to make up posters in that. So I just did that and then downloaded it, and then it'd be either printed or used online. So yeah.
Great. Or you could email it to everybody.
I could, yes.
that would be good. That'd save me time. Being in CWA, you get time for, I can tell you. So, but
we can do fantastic. Those for you, Diane. We have them set up in templates and things, because that's going to have Katrina's details on it rather than yours.
Yes, that's fine. But if you've got the templates, that's what I mean. Because I'm sure, like, I could probably do it, but it's just, as I say, I'm just so time poor. I don't want to be reinventing the wheel.
Yeah, we've got lots of different templates pre-saved, so it's really easy for us to just plug in, your details and your times, and we can absolutely put those together for you. Yeah.
Thank you. The other question is 4:30. It's a bit cool and dark by 5 or 5:30. What are you doing? Just half an hour, or?
No, we usually do between half an hour and an hour. Like I said, some people like to go further than others. But it's not getting dark yet. And I did ask if the group would like to move it to start at 4, but everyone was happy with 4:30 because a lot of people come after work. So yeah, I did suggest an early morning one, but not everyone was keen for that one. They like the afternoon.
Fair enough. Any other questions?
I do, if I may. Katrina, how do you think it would work for a virtual branch? In as much as we would record our steps virtually, how you mentioned you were writing down people's steps.
Yeah, so I'll just show you. So I have this little register that I use every meetup, and it's just everyone's name, and they sign in just to make sure that we know who's coming, and then I just note down their steps. So that's what I did for the first bit. But once everyone kind of downloaded the app, then a lot of people were syncing them to their phones. So their phone actually updated it themselves. So I don't actually record too many steps anymore because everyone's kind of doing it themselves. But the pedometers have actually been a fantastic tool because I've noticed that a lot of people are more conscious of how much exercise and activity they're doing by wearing the pedometers. Because, I mean, sometimes you don't realize how much you've actually walked in the day just walking around in your daily life.
Yeah.
So, it's, I suppose, making people aware.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was just going to say, the 10,000 Steps app, you could probably use as a virtual branch because everyone would just put in their own steps, and then the app would actually monitor as a group how you were doing. So yeah.
There has been a few requests about the virtual branch walking groups as well, so that people can walk in their own area but just record them. So yeah, I think maybe, Gabriella, if the people that want to join the virtual walking group, it might be easiest to do it in the app or on the computer. And then what you would do is create a virtual branch group, and then everyone that's part of that would log their steps, same as the groups that are meeting up in person. But we can talk you through that. I'm sure Aleks can help you creating that profile. And showing you how to kind of manage that as well. Yeah.
Sure, because we use SharePoint, so that would be easily accessible for our members to put their steps into that.
Oh, yeah, that's
true. Well, yeah, and basically, so everyone who's a member of the walking group creates their own personal profile on 10,000 Steps, and then we've just got a way to link all those profiles together into a group. So everyone's sort of logging their steps individually, and that's all pooling into the group total. So then you can keep track of, how much your group's done collectively, as well as everyone's still got their own sort of personal profile there. So yeah, definitely can make it work for the virtual group as well.
Thank you, Aleks, and thank you, Katrina. You're doing a marvellous job.
No worries. It was kind of a make it up as we go along. So
thank you so much for speaking today, Katrina. We really appreciate it, and I know the ladies will find that really valuable. So thank you. We'll
no worries.
Move on now, and feel free to duck off whenever you have to.
Okay, so now we will hear from Gabriella, who, as she mentioned, is a member of the new virtual branch. And Gabriella is going to talk to us about her experience planning and undertaking Country Kitchen's activities in her community. So we'll do this one as a bit of a question and answer format. So if you do have any questions for Gabriella, you can ask these at the end. But welcome, Gabriella, and thank you so much for agreeing to be one of our guest speakers today. So I just thought maybe we could start with you telling us how long you've been a part of the QCWA and how long you've been a Country Kitchens facilitator.
Well, I've been with the QCWA 4 years and a Country Kitchens facilitator about 4 years as well. It seems as though I joined and I thought, oh, I'm not a very good knitter or sewer or crochet's a bit iffy. And I thought when I heard about Country Kitchens, because I have an Italian background, I love to cook and I love to eat and I love to talk. And I thought this is a perfect fit for me because I can still be helping the community and still be growing myself as a person. And all these new recipes are so exciting, and I do love creating recipes from scratch, and that can be a real challenge, but it's exciting as well.
Oh, wonderful. And we have received lots of new recipes from you that we're very grateful for. So thank you. Now, do you think you have developed any skills being a facilitator, and was this expected?
I think I have become more comfortable talking in front of people. I'd always have a job in the past where I talk about people, but learning about a new program can be quite difficult, and you've got to get your head around it and feel comfortable with what you're talking about. So I think that's what I found. I learned as much as I could about the QCWA Country Kitchens program and the 5 key messages. And by learning about it and familiarizing myself about it, I became more comfortable talking about it. So that's the main thing I found that the main skill I developed.
Thank you. Yes, and it is something that's very daunting for all of us, I think, that getting up and talking in front of people. So, as you said, the more you do it, the easier it becomes. Now, looking back at all of the activities that you have been involved in, do you think any stand out as your favourite or ones that you are really proud to have been a part of?
I must say it would be holding the Back to Basics cooking classes with the students, the disengaged students of the Tin Can Bay State School. This program, it started off, it was very, another way of saying it was very daunting for me. It was my first hands-on nutrition workshop presentation, and it was kind of easier doing it in front of children because they don't have as much, or their expectations aren't as big as or as great as those as adults. I found these children, well, I must tell you about a quick story. The very first lesson that we had with them, I handed out oven mitts, and I thought, yep, they'll just leave them there and that'll be fine. But those guys, and girls, you know what they did? They picked them up, and what do they look like? Basically, boxing gloves. So there they are, and they've already got disengaged, and they're in there with their boxing gloves. So I sort of asked them, please put those down and we'll continue on. And I found ways of amusing them. Needless to say, they did not get rolling pins until they were actually meant to use them, as well as the knives. It was amazing to watch those children's skills improve over the year. They started off going, oh, do we have to? And towards the end, they'd come in, they'd do everything. They'd wash their hands, they'd put their hats on. As you can see from the photo up the top, on the right-hand side there. They were a cheeky lot as well, but we had fun and they learnt, and I took in interesting activities for them, like comparing an emu egg with an ordinary hen's egg with a little tiny egg and a quail's egg. And they found those things like that fascinating, taking in different samples of herbs and spices so they could touch, smell, and see what it was used in. And also explain to them how to use knives safely, which they practiced every time they came in. Because at first, they were just waving them around and being a bit, careless with them, but they got to learn how to hold them better. And also they learned with eggs, for example, how to tell if they're going off in the water trick. So that was my most that would be the one I'm most proud of, but I'm proud of any of them that I've done because they all have their own special things about them. Yeah.
Oh, that's lovely, Gabriella. And that's, I guess, what the program's all about, and what we always talk about when we talk about food literacy is just passing on some of those skills to, our community members on, as you said, getting them familiar with foods, with cooking techniques, with how to use a knife and all of that. So thank you so much for sharing. And yes, I do really like that you were saying that at the start of that series, you'd sort of get a handful of students come to the class, and by the end of it, they were sort of all there, ready to go and excited to cook. So that's a lovely little success story, I think.
Yeah, they learned also, to wash their hands, clean the benches, and then when they'd finished, they'd all wash up, clean up, and then they'd sit down and eat their whatever they'd created that morning. So that was good.
Oh, lovely. Yes, very important to keep food safety in mind with those sessions as well. So how do you go about developing and fostering partnerships that then lead to activities like this one? So I guess a lot of people start off with doing country kitchens just within their branch. But what would you suggest if people are wanting to then expand and take the program out into their community?
Well, what I suggest is you look at your family, your network of family and friends. More often than not, and your branch members, more often than not, they belong to other groups as well. For example, Katrina Vandenbrink, she's with Probus, and she kindly invited me along one day to speak at one of their meetings. One of the ladies was the president of the PNC, so therefore I got to go along and help at the under-8s day and have games and little competitions and displays and things like that. With the RSL, a local RSL, I'm a volunteer there, and I do usually once a month 2 activities there, and one of them's a community morning tea. And you speak to them, and then they have other groups. For example, a retirement village that a few of the ladies belong to at the RSL, and they asked if I wouldn't mind going along and holding a hands-on nutrition workshop with their members of their retirement community, and that was a very lovely day as well. So it's an ever-expanding thing. Pick up your local papers. There's lots of groups in there. Don't be afraid to approach them. They're always looking for new ideas. Fishing clubs, you could do a cooking demonstration on macadamia crusted fish, for example, and which incorporates Country Kitchen's healthy meals and the product of the year. So there's lots of choices of what you can do and who you can do it with. You've got scouts, you've got guides. There are so many different groups. Lions. The list is quite endless. So we've got a shooting group. We've got bowling groups. They're also interested as well. So yes, it just grows. It starts off small I did. I was only doing a recipe and speaking at the meetings, our branch meetings. But then it sort of just grew slowly from there. And I like the fact that it was slowly because it gave me time to be more comfortable. So that's what I'd suggest is look to your family, friends, and other community activities that are happening in your area.
Wonderful, yes, and then it does sort of snowball out from there. And I guess you also then promote some of those activities with local publications. Would you be able to touch a little bit on that? Because that also then helps to get the word out, I guess.
Yes, yes. Even if you send in a recipe with a bit of a talk about the healthy part of that recipe and what your branch is up to, you can incorporate lots of things into a little news article. And photos, they love photos. So it's a good way to start. And don't forget, with social media and publications, you can post on them or send in articles quite regularly. So you're updating your information all the time. You don't make it boring or static. It's always exciting to see an article that you made up and put in the paper. So that's another way of going about expanding your partnerships.
Your reach, yeah.
Yes,
Oh,
and knowledge.
So the last question I've got for you today is, what more do you want to see happen with Country Kitchens in your local community, or maybe with the virtual branch, and how do you maybe envision that happening?
Okay. Well, one of the ways I thought of expanding ourselves into the local community is putting up more static displays where you can, for example, in libraries or in schools. Now, if you have limited space, you could consider a corkboard or those freestanding displays, and you could put up photos of, say, Coca-Cola, orange juice, Red Bull, and pin underneath it a sachet with the amount of sugar that it's got in it. And then also you could have all the different posters up on that. And also joining local walking group and combining that, or being a part of an existing walking group, because we've got a very strong walking group in our area, which is part of the Heart Foundation. And so I'd like to approach them and just see what they say, you know, and I'd have to speak with Aleks about it. And that's what the virtual branch may come into play as well in that way. Also, demonstrating a quick dish is another way of doing it. Like Jo did at the recent Southern Conference. She prepared the roasted capsicum, feta, and macadamia dip, which is easy, quick, and you could arrange to do that at your local IGA. Speak to the Woolworths. They sometimes let different community groups hold a display in their stores. So that's also worth considering.
Lots of good ideas there. And thank you so much for sharing about some of the activities you've done and your experience with us all. So does anyone have any questions for Gabriella?
I do, Gabriella. It's Michelle from Emu Park, Yeppoon on the Capricorn Coast. And thank you for your entertaining talk about working with school children. I have experienced working with primary school students too, but no boxing gloves, no rolling pins, and they were pretty good with knives, weren't they, Maddy? Maddy happened to be there too. We didn't have any, mind you, very few of them got real knives. Some of them only got
We're
plastic knives.
younger, I think.
The very young ones did.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Well, the really young one, I was approached by a little country school here to do some cooking with the P to 3. When the principal heard what we were planning, she said, no, the whole school's doing it, thank you. So there were 27 students, 8 recipes, 4 or 5 parents. I rounded up a few facilitators and Maddie. So we got through, but what an incredibly busy morning. But yeah, the little preppies' aprons were huge on them.
Yes.
But yeah, it is fun. And the word spreads, as you said. Mount Archer School in Rockhampton now has asked us to come in and do some work with parents. So it just goes, it grows. Play groups, expos.
Yes.
You don't really have to work very hard. People come to us now. So it's great.
Yes.
And that's because of people like Maddy and Aleks, the programs, and Meg and everything they've put together in Brisbane. It's great. Yes.
No, that's fabulous. You can see where I'm coming from with working with children.
Yes.
So different to adults, they're sort of.
I do like the idea of gloves. Did you make them? Are they Country Kitchens themed gloves?
No, they're not. They're not. No.
Not that we really need them, but I just thought it was a nice little gimmick. Yes.
Yes. Yeah, I never thought of those either. So I like the play knives and the gloves. Yes, I work with homeschool children as well. And at one stage there was 24 of them. And I only had 2 helpers on that day, and that were both parents. So that was quite exciting. I did split them into 2 groups, but I always have little activities for them. And for example, I created a spot the difference card made of fruits. And so they all got that, and they could go through. And while they were playing with that, another group would be doing some part of the cooking. Another one is a star fruit when it's available. Is fabulous for making, which we did with the under 8s, to make little patterns and shapes and things like that. They can do it with potatoes and other fruits as well. So that's another activity that they can do. So, yeah.
Very good.
Sorry, I was just going to say, I think having lots of activities like that really does help engage some of those younger children. And we will need to talk to you, Gabriella, because we're in the process of revamping level 5, which is back to basics, some of those workshops working with children, and we are looking to add lots of little activities similar to what you've mentioned to sort of keep them engaged and have something available for all different age groups. So thank you for sharing some of those. Diane, you've got your hand up there.
Yes, I did something in the local community, and it was the children happened to be homeschooled, and so therefore I know that there must be kids in our area. How do you get into that stream? Is there a way to, are they in local areas?
Well, they are. I mean, we're in a regional area, and it draws from children from Rainbow Beach, Kalula Cove, and Tin Can Bay. Now, how I found out about that was through the community pantry. It would be a matter of maybe speaking to some of the play groups. They often will know if a child is being homeschooled, and from them you could speak to the parent, and then they could tell you who's actually organising the homeschool children. And as far as homeschool, as with the virtual branch, we're hoping to reach out to the School of the Air and other community groups that meet via Zoom or Teams, say the farmers groups or women who are on a farm. They don't go shopping, say, for at least every month or every 3 months. It would be nice to help them plan and budget and things like that, because we don't just teach them how to cook. We also teach them how to keep food fresher for longer, how to plan meals, how to budget for meals, and to make the comparison between the cost of a pre-bought meal as to a home-cooked meal that more often than not can be frozen because you've made enough for, say, 2 or 3 meals or even a week. You can freeze those and be ahead and not depend on chips or pies or sausage rolls. So that's just little things. So I think, Diane, that would be the best way, would be to approach a playgroup, or even the local school would know of children who aren't going to school, but they're being homeschooled. So nice to see you too, Diane. How are you?
I'm great. You're looking
Good.
great. Thanks. Thanks, Gabriella.
Thank you.
Okay. Well,
can I ask a question?
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
Yes, sorry.
I just wondered who funds these activities?
So so Health and Wellbeing it funds the Country Kitchens program, and in terms of, like, do you mean the activities out in the community, or like paying for
Well, like paying for the ingredients, or
Yeah.
any of the things that you might need for cooking activities and
Yeah.
that sort of thing?
So that's covered in the training pathway. So we talk about the different activities we do, cover how that would usually be funded. So with a lot of the workshops, either the organisation that you're partnering with might pay for the groceries, or there might be a per participant fee, or so when you get to that kind of point with those workshops and things, we certainly help with planning that out as well. But we do cover funding that and covering those costs in those trainings as well. So
all right, cool. Thank you.
That's okay.
Yep, Gabriella.
As far as donations go, we were assisted at first with the RSL, made a donation towards running the classes at the school. A lot of the time I find I buy the ingredients, and especially at taste testers, I just buy them myself, and I don't mind doing that. But I think also I have claimed back to the branch certain, if there's been a large activity happening, and they support that way. Okay.
Yeah, I'd like to jump in here as well, if that's okay. I guess, as Maddy said, we do cover off in detail in terms of how some of the workshops are funded. And as she mentioned, there might be a per participant sort of fee that's charged to cover the cost of ingredients. There are branches, and I know particularly in Western Division at the moment, they have a partnership with Care Belong, and they've been running a series of hands-on nutrition workshops that have been funded through a grant that Care Belong had received. So it's all a little bit varied. I guess I might just take the opportunity here, and I know probably some of you who were at Central Region had heard about it, but I guess just with regard to a very small amount of kind of, I guess, startup type funding, this year we do have some additional money in relation to a sort of a CPI increase that we have received through Health and Wellbeing Queensland. And as such, we're looking to distribute that to branches who have a trained facilitator. So each branch who has a trained facilitator will receive a one-off payment of $200, and communication around that will come at the end of this week, and it will go to the branch email, and also all of the facilitators will also be included on that. So again, it's sort of I appreciate it's a small amount of money, but I guess it's a gesture of our appreciation, and hopefully to support with some of those activities, and potentially to cover the cost of things, as Gabriella mentioned, like taste testers that you might do for activities in the community. So there will be further information that comes out about that this week. So as I say, it is a small one-off payment, but I guess, there are sort of different avenues that we look at to ensure that we can best cover the cost. And it's certainly not the expectation that individual facilitators are out of pocket in any way. And if there are ever any issues, you can always chat to your Country Kitchens buddy about that. But as Maddy mentioned, there's more details in the training around sort of how we go about funding different activities, particularly those workshops that typically come with a larger cost associated with those.
Yes, we charge for hands-on nutrition work, community cooking workshops. So that covers the costs of the ingredients. I forgot to mention that, sorry.
No, that's okay. Yeah, and as Meg mentioned, there's lots of different ways that that people go about it. So yeah, we do cover on that in training, and we're always here to work with you to figure out some of that sort of costing stuff. So look, we probably have about 7 minutes left on the call, but I would just like to open up and start the Q&A, I guess, portion of this meeting. So if you've got anything that you'd like to share or any questions that you've got, maybe some goals or ideas that you've got for the remainder of the year, or if you have any questions about any of those updates or projects that we mentioned at the start of the presentation, you feel free to pop yourself off mute and ask away.
Or if you have maybe questions for other people that are on the Zoom today that you might, you know, have raised something, or yeah, feel free.
Hello.
Hello.
If you're lucky enough to have a school that has the pick of the crop, ingredients from their garden as well. So at our local school, we've used eggplants that they grew and mushrooms, and you just work your cooking around those. It's really good. Yesterday we had an international day at our local school. So in the middle session, we had 2 groups. There's only 11 children in the whole school, which is lovely. We had 2 groups, the younger group and the older group, and we split them up into art activities and cooking. So we cooked the 3 sister soup with the older group and the peach cobbler with the younger group. And then after we shared the lunch then, and then after lunch they had a special parade and with parents, and we went around and planted 2 macadamia trees that we donated to the school. So it's good to see everybody there, and some of the students had done work on Ontario, so they presented that work as well as part of the day. It was a great day.
What a lovely idea, planting those trees, and a nice donation. How did the younger students go with making the peach cobbler? Was it?
Oh, they loved it. Yeah, they loved it. Especially the part where they got their hands all good with the butter and the flour and everything.
Yes, very messy, but fun activity for kids. Oh, that's great. It sounds like a really nice day.
Yeah, we had to make it gluten-free because one of the children are gluten-free, so that worked really well too.
Okay, what did you
just used almond flour?
Yeah. Okay.
And in the soup, we couldn't use the cubes, the stock cubes. We had to use the liquid because the stock cubes actually had wheat flour in them. Yeah.
Yeah.
We worked around it.
Great.
And she was really happy.
Yeah. Good job.
Thanks.
Donna, do you have a question for us there?
Hello.
Yep.
It's Donna here from Blackbutt.
Hello.
How you going?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, good. I'm just letting you know I've been involved with Benarkan School a fair bit. I read to them every week.
Yep.
They read to me. I'm in the process of doing demonstrations at 3 schools.
Oh, lovely.
Benarkan, Blackbutt and Yarraman.
Yep.
I'll be doing that before the end of June, start of July, just after their holidays.
Yep.
I have been also, our branch has been doing Devonshire Teas Wednesdays, which is scones, and I've been cooking mini quiche every Wednesdays as well.
Yep.
And that's healthy eating. There's no, it's very healthy.
Oh, lovely. Oh, well, I might give you a call, Donna, just to get some more details off you, just so I can make sure that I get that all written down for our next report.
Yeah, we'll do that.
That sounds really good.
We'll
yeah,
do that.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
May I ask Donna something? Donna, if you need a hand in any way, I'd love to help, as you know, because we've been together.
Yeah, we have, haven't we?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that would be lovely if I can in any way, just let me know.
Okay, thank you, Ariel.
Thank you.
Oh, great.
And back to now, who was it? I don't know. Is it Lynn there that spoke before about the gluten-free?
Christine.
Yep.
Christine?
Yep.
Sorry.
Yep.
What was I going to say? Next week, our branch joins, BUR branch joins with Peachester branch each year for an international lunch. And well, I'm gluten-free, but there's also one or two ladies up at Peachester. And I discovered that Peachester, in their cooking, they actually just cook everything gluten-free. So we're doing the desserts, and I've said to, my branch, everything's gluten-free. So which would be good because, you shouldn't have to discriminate, but you do have to get a bit creative sometimes with, what the recipe is. And I've actually just looked at the rolled oats because I was going to do a crumble, and I'm thinking, I have to buy the ones that are a bit dearer because they actually say wheat-free. Well, but I have Uncle Toby's and I don't have any problem. Apparently in Australia, the rolled oats are okay because they don't mill it with wheat. So anyway,
not
just
for somebody that's celiac. Just want to put that out there. If
right,
you're dealing with celiac, make sure you don't use oats. But otherwise, if it's just the wheat, then yeah, oats are fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, Maddie. I keep forgetting that. So, but anyway, it's just I just love it. I love the pick of the crop, and because I'm involved with the school locally as well. And but it's good to be able to hear what other people are doing, which is really excellent. Thank you for having the Zoom call.
Well, thank you everyone for joining. It's been a really nice morning, some great discussions, some great activities and ideas, and a lot of sharing of those, which has been really lovely. So really want to thank you all for joining us for this hour this morning, and we hope that we will see you at the next one in the next quarter.
Just quickly, Maddie, I just wanted to say, and I think Angie has jumped off, but we do have a couple of brand new facilitators on the call today, so who are still to do their training. So Delwyn, I know, thank you so much for joining.
Thank you.
I hope got a little bit out of the discussion and been able to, I guess, put some faces to names of other facilitators. So we look forward to having you on board as a facilitator. And as I say, I think Angie had jumped off, but I know that she's from Bundaberg branch and is to do the training tomorrow. So thanks everyone for making the time to join. And as always, it's lovely to hear from you all and see your faces.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks, Angie.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye,
everyone.
Maddy and Aleks.
Thank you.